Good day to all the brethren and sisters who are fighting a struggle brought on to them by those who wish to continue to abuse the innocent. Today I'm speaking about the struggle faced by Natalia Williams, a disabled Gentile woman who bought into a co-op in Rolen Lake Gardens 55 plus community located in Hallandale Beach. Now, at first she thought that the sound of 55 plus and Florida would be the perfect plan for her to execute and live there and spend the rest of her life happily ever after. But that was before the events that took place after. Now, I know about this event because I know Miss Williams, and I was also there when she was looking for a place, and when she found this place in Hallandale Beach, I told her, I said, well, Hallandale Beach is a community that there's a lot of old folks living there, senior citizens, and I think it would be beneficial for a person like her and also safe. But I wasn't wrong about Hallandale Beach. The only thing I was wrong about was the people who she was going to face. Because, and when I say wrong, I mean wrong about the people in the sense that I believed that in this time, people who live in this type of community would be upstanding citizens in every type of way. Now, when Miss Williams got there, even to pick up our application, the manager, Isabel Brassard, was just leaving out of the office and saw Miss Williams walking with her cane on her disabled paraphernalia on her ankle. She still commenced to lock the office door and talk to Miss Williams with the door locked, even after Miss Williams identified herself as one of the new owner coming in. Isabel Brassard told Miss Williams that she will be back in 15 minutes, so you know, she decided to wait outside. 55 minutes later, without even leaving an application for Miss Williams, Isabel Brassard returned. Even as the office have a closing time, she returned like 20 minutes to the closing time. Miss Williams had to run to the post office, get her a money order, fill out the application and give it to her before the office was closed. And remember this, you know, this is a 55 plus community where old people are coming in, and this manager didn't even offer Miss Williams to sit in the office and fill out the application. And if that's not the case, here's the application, then sit in your car and fill it out so by the time I come back. But the 15 minutes turned 55. Then when it was time for our interview was postponed twice because Larry Reinfeld said that his doctor, now Larry Reinfeld is and was the building president for Building V, the building in which Miss Williams now resides. And he postponed her interview twice, citing his doctor. Then the third time, he got in touch with Miss Williams and tell her, well, listen, we're not going to do any Skype interview anymore because there's a lot of scam going on over Skype. Now, this is after her background check and her credit check came back, you know. Not before. So Miss Williams had to travel all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, just to come to an interview. Now, at that interview, when the owners heard what Larry said about the scams going on over Skype, they were surprised that the Skype interview was discontinued by Larry REINFELD. So they asked the real estate agent, Norm Lebel, to accompany Miss Williams to this meeting because they was fearful of Larry REINFELD not giving Miss Williams a fair deal because she was identified as black. When Norm Lebel arrived at the meeting, Larry REINFELD became very boisterous and telling him, "You're not supposed to be here." Anyway, Norm Lebel said, "I am here on representative of the owners." He sat out the meeting with Miss Williams, and at the end of the meeting, Norm Lebel turned to Miss Williams and said, "Well, with a man like Larry REINFELD present, you're not going to need any boyfriend." Now, what I would get from that is Larry REINFELD believes that Miss Williams was going to be his girlfriend. So after Miss Williams moved in, she experienced an unlawful touching from Larry REINFELD. And she said after that, it had become something sort of uncomfortable. He was caught throwing a coconut bow, a palm bow that fell to the ground in front of her doorway. And then on another occasion, our front tires were slashed. Another occasion again, a man named Philip from building B, yes, not V, came to Miss Williams and told her that Larry REINFELD was at his house calling her a black nigger bitch and said that she was selling drugs from her apartment and having all type of people coming in and out of her place. Now, why would he attack a disabled woman and then at the same time try to discredit her to her neighbors? It clearly shows that he's trying his best to make sure that when she comes out with her allegations, she have no support from no one. So he went around and discredited her first just to keep himself safe and secure. Now, this unlawful touching of Miss Williams' vagina, it happened after she said Larry REINFELD entered her apartment and she asked him about putting up a camera. She said he began to tell her that as long as she's nice to him, she can get anything done around here because his word is king and everybody listen to what he says. On his way out of her apartment, she said he grabbed her crotch and stared into her eyes like he was waiting to see if she was ready to pay the price for that camera. Well, after that camera caught him verbally abusing a resident and a shareholder of Building V, another female resident, and he referred to her as the same bitch in that video footage that Miss Williams' camera caught. And the same camera caught him throwing that palm bow in front of Miss Williams' door. So the association now, instead of they take action to protect Miss Williams, they started to force her to remove that camera that caught Larry REINFELD after it caught him. Now, she had the camera 8 months before she received the letter to remove it. And keep in mind that there are other units in Rolen Lake Gardens that have camera for over 10 years. And this is proof because there's a woman in Building B by the name of Marlena and also the man named Mr. Philip who came to Miss Williams and told her that Larry REINFELD was calling her a black nigger bitch. Well, as this thing go on, in April again of 2023, Miss Williams observed Larry REINFELD hiding behind the mailbox pointing his camera at her. And in December again, she saw the same man who have been stalking her from 2022 because she didn't surrender to him, upstairs her apartment building, pointing his camera at her again. So she went to the Fort Lauderdale courts to try to get a restraining order before, and they turned her down. She went there again, and she finally got a restraining order. On the day of her first court date, the courts informed her that Mr. Reinfeld was never served. Now, this is the court that people are supposed to have trust and faith in, you know. And when she asks why he wasn't served, they claim that he was in jail on another offense. Now, if the man was in jail, I'm pretty sure the court can find him. But I am making this video here today to show you that the system will go to extent to protect white sexual predators against black women, just like they have done in the past, because there is a law tabled in America before Miss Williams was even born that no black woman can press rape charges against a white man because black women are seductresses. Now, I met a white woman that told me that she was the greatest seductress. So maybe the person who wrote these laws didn't meet this woman that I am talking about, but that's how she identified herself to me. Now, building V board now is making new laws now to contain Miss Williams once again, because it went to the extent where on the day when Larry Reinfeld pointed the camera at Miss Williams in April of 2023, she ran to the new president door, who was George Porter, and she knocked and she shouted for help, but he didn't open the door. Then she tried to call him on her phone and he kept going to voicemail. So she used another phone to call him and he answered. And he told Miss Williams that Isabel Brassard and attorney Steve Mason instructed him and other board members not to take any call from her or any of the victims that are complaining about Larry Reinfeld. Now, this shows me that these people know who Larry Reinfeld is, and they will go to any extent to protect him. All right? 2 women reported sexual assault against Mr. Reinfeld. 1 was caught on video getting verbally assaulted by Mr. Reinfeld. Now, the Hallandale police have not arrested Mr. Reinfeld for none of these charges, even after one of the women reported that he put a knife at her throat and squeezed her breast. And she's a Jewish woman. And not even, I can't say not even the Jewish people came in and tried to help her, because maybe, because they are trying to identify Larry Reinfeld as Jewish, they probably worked out something. But up until the, I think December of 2023, the Jewish woman said she found a picture of a gun drawn at her doorway, and she know Larry Reinfeld put it there. So she called the police came, and the police arrested him only for stalking, not for putting the knife at her neck, because the mayor, Joy Cooper, told her, the mayor for Hallandale Beach told her that she would need video evidence for them to arrest Mr. Larry Reinfeld. But when I look at the various sexual assault cases going on around America, all of the woman testimonies were taken and the man was reprimanded, from Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Harvey Weinstein, and up until the other day, Jeffrey Epstein, and Sean Combs. Now, I don't know what type of power Mr. Reinfeld have in Hallandale, or what type of power he has over the Rolling Lakes Council, but I also heard that the man who was the president, he died recently, Jim Penman, is a good friend of Mr. Reinfeld, Mr. Larry Reinfeld, and he can do whatever he pleases, because that's what he told to do to 2 of his victims so far. And those 2 victims also said that Larry REINFELD told them that he can make their life miserable with the policies that he have control over in the Hallandale Beach Police Department. And this is evident. This man is also untouchable, because I can tell you this, that Miss Williams and the victims of Larry REINFELD are the main suspects, and Larry REINFELD is the victim. So the system is set up that the victims are held guilty until the aggressor is proven guilty. So the aggressor is innocent until proven guilty, and the victims are guilty until proven innocent. And that's what the Hallandale Beach Police is practicing now under the watchful eye of America and its citizens, and not only citizens, senior citizens and disabled citizens. And one thing I want to put forth, that during this happenings, and I noticed how the mayor and the Hallandale police was going on and handling the case, I decided to Google crimes against senior citizens in Hallandale Beach. And what I came up with, I found a Jewish couple who was murdered in their apartment at the Venetian Park condos in Hallandale Beach. Both of them was bound, and there was stifling some sort of way. But this happened from 2013. And even today, the Hallandale police have not made 1 arrest for the murder of these 2 Jewish people. One is Rochelle Wise, and the other one is Donny PICHOSKY, a husband and wife. And even with video evidence and DNA evidence, this case still remains open. Now, when I check the Hallandale police record, 3 police chiefs, and there's no arrest for Donny PICHOSKY murder, neither there's no arrest for Rochelle Wise. And remember, this murder has video evidence of the so-called killer or killers, and there's also DNA evidence. Now, there were 2 Canadians visiting from Canada. I don't know if it was Toronto or Quebec, but one of those places. And the ROLEN garden, where Natalia Williams and the other 2 victims live, is also run by Canadians. So I am led to believe now that there are Canadian snowbirds who are coming into Florida, who are committing serious crimes and are getting away with it. Because there was a politician from Canada by the name of Doug Forbes that made a statement that the people who is responsible for the murder of Rochelle Wise and Donny PICHOSKY, their freedom will be short-lived. That's been since 2013. Now, in a city like Hallandale Beach, Miss Williams also have footage of her neighbor hanging a bag of trash on her back door, and that was during the time when they was forcing her to remove her camera. Now, Rolling Lake Garden has proven to be one of the most racist, one of the most unsafe place, and one of the most place where disabled and people who the system labeled as black can be attacked at any moment. And just for the murder of Rochelle Wise and Donny PICHOSKY, it also shows that senior citizens can be murdered in their unit or in their homes without no reprimand for whoever committed those crimes against them. Well, I am here today reaching out to anyone that can assist Natalia Williams, a disabled woman who is under constant attack with non-stop, because the last letter she refused from attorney, she received from attorney Stephen Mason is that he will be bringing an armed guard to remove her camera. Now, a disabled woman also has a stand your ground protection in Florida. And when she mentioned that to him, he told her he will be bringing an armed guard. So that means there's an intention to kill Natalia Williams, as the intention was formulated to kill Rochelle Wise and Donny PICHOSKY. Now, after surgery on her foot in August, Miss Williams was backing in her car, and same Larry Reinfeld saw her backing in, went to the office and told Isabel Brassard. I don't know what he told her, but Isabel Brassard came, drove past Miss Williams' car, stopped, and then she looked. 35 seconds. Then she drove off, came back with a sticker and put no back-in parking is allowed, Rolling Lakes Management. When Miss Williams looked into the bylaws, there was no such thing. So Isabel Brassard and Larry Reinfeld, under the watchful eye of Franz Morin, who is now the president of the council, who Miss Williams showed the tape of Larry Reinfeld throwing the trash in front of her home and assaulting Kerry Goshern verbally. The very next day after that tape was shown to Franz Morin, Mr. Reinfeld made allegation that his screen to his back door was cut and feces was pasted onto his door. No, I saw him that morning and I said to him, now, how can you not report something like that to the police when it's vandalizing and destruction of property? He said he already know that his victim, Deborah Ehrlichson, the Jewish woman, is responsible for that. Now that morning he told me that if I have anything to do with it, he will put the officers that he have control over, that he have known over the years in the Hallandale Beach Police Department, on me to make my life miserable. No, two of his victims said the same thing, and he said the same thing to me. While he was there ranting and raging, Miss Goshern was coming downstairs and she said to him, "You are blocking." Mr. Reinfeld immediately attacked Miss Goshern and said, I'm blocking the effing walkway. And he called her the B word again. This man was the president of Building V, you know, at that time. So now the attorney and also the new board of Building V is telling Miss Williams what she has been telling them for a long time, that the man is a false president. He took over after the first president was moving out, the previous president, and say, all right, Larry Reinfeld, because you're a poster boy for Jim Penman, and we respect Jim Penman, you go ahead and take it over. Well, God forbid the other day Jim Penman died. I am reaching out again to anyone from the ACLU, anyone from BLM, anyone from Every Black Girl, 100 Black Man, Ben Crump, anyone that can help. Al Sharpton, because I've noticed one thing among the community of people that looks like me. If you are not a celebrity, there is no one who is willing to assist you in anything that you are going through as far as where racism and discrimination is concerned. Now, everyone cannot be celebrity, but everyone must have a heart. And if you have a heart and you're listening to this woman needs legal representation, because that is one of the main reasons why they keep coming at her, because no lawyer or no prominent figure within the community that is labeled as black has taken any or make any attempt to stand by her side. Well, this is not my final plea, but this is just one of them. And there is a change.org petition set up. One in defense of the 3 victims, the other is in defense of Miss Williams alone. And there's also another petition set up just the same. So you can reach out to her at email williamsnatalia1030@gmail.com. And to whoever may come and to whoever this plea may find to be of any concern to, God bless you and live. See you later.